Madrid 2017 International Film Festival, and I'm joined by Karen Spanier, who's here supporting her film Patch. Karen, thank you for joining us and congratulations on your successful nominations. So tell us about the story of Patch and the story of the film.
The story of the film, of course, I'm not going to tell you everything.
No.
People just have to see it for themselves. But, well, the film is mainly, it questions to what extent narcissism and friendship can go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And, in a way it can. The story is about two best friends, childhood friends, who meet each other for a relaxing weekend away on the island of Guernsey, which is one of the Channel Islands, people who don't know where it is. It's quite remote, in the Atlantic Ocean between France and England. This is where the story evolves, and of course it has a plot, a chilling plot.
Yes.
So
it's a great film. It's really funny.
It's funny.
Yeah. It's a funny film.
That's a good thing.
Which obviously you set out to do. From the outset, it starts when we've got Charlotte, the character. Obviously, again, I'm not wanting to give too much away. I may ask certain questions on the plot, but the way the narrative develops, it's something which could be very real to friendships of people, where there is this voiceover of opinion.
Yes.
Was that something that you'd always wanted to put into the story from the start, in terms of the mindset and the fantasy realities? Yes.
Because it's how it works in real life. When you talk to people and you have your thoughts and you never actually really tell what you think.
No, that's
a good thing.
It is. There's people out there that do it, and all of a sudden they're people that live quite a lonely life, because if they're too forthright, then it's difficult. But one thing which, when I watched it, and I just want to ask, in the fantasy worlds that Charlotte creates, the music choices for that.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that, because was that a case of we're just going to choose that, or was there more thought in?
Well, we thought of using music of artists we knew or with whom we worked before.
Yeah.
So we knew a little bit of what kind of music they made and what kind of styles. But in the end, it all came down to the choices of the director and the sound. So
and that's how it works.
Yes.
And how did you find it in
and
terms
us, of course.
Yeah, of course, your opinions. When you were doing, there's voiceover scenes in the film. Yeah. When you were doing your voiceovers, were you then actually watching the screens, watching it back on screen and going, and did anything differ? Was that kind of ad-libbed in any way, or?
Well, it was also a lot of improvising, because when you see the end result, you're like, oh, okay, so this is how it really works with, on screen, and somehow it comes to life even more for us as actors.
Yeah.
So then we really, we quite kind of understood what we had to say, and we tried a few different things.
Yep.
And there were also, of course, a lot of suggestions by the director.
I guess
who
it's
was a very, very witty guy.
I was going to say, there's so much wit in it and the humour, and obviously at the end of the day, you can't have a serious cast that's not got that mentality. From the opening bits, in terms of being in the back of the taxi, and obviously the film kind of in a way goes full circle.
Yeah.
Being in the back of a vehicle in a glamorous manner to being in the back of a vehicle in a less glamorous manner, which is obviously one thing. Yeah. That was intended, I assume.
Yes, and it's also very much. That's also the talents of Marinda, who's playing the role of Charlotte. She's very extreme. She can play very extreme characters. And
do you have anyone like Charlotte in your life? You're not a Charlotte, are you?
I'm not personally. No, not at all. More like a Tessa. No, not even that. No, no, I don't really have. But fortunately, I don't have a friend like that. But I do have friends who have traits. The person, the party girls, they go for it, and she has that kind of
And just the mentality
attitude.
of going through a breakup. And again, I mean, ultimately, you go through breakups and then you have your friends that are there for you. And then you've got the friends which tell you what
really
you want to do.
Really there for you, not like
as opposed to then Charlotte, which is, let's get on the cocktails and, oh my God, you're crying again.
Yeah.
Yes, obviously, it's an honest story as well, though, isn't it, in terms of the way it does depict.
Because we also have our moments that we think, okay, I've heard this story many times now. I mean, just get on with your life, you know, and this is where, you know, where we're zooming in on that.
Yeah, and the focus.
That idea.
So we mentioned it's filmed in Guernsey.
Yeah.
I understand that you were able to get a lot of your backing to film it. Tell us a little bit about that and the relief that kind of gave you, because that's a massive location shooting, scouting, everything. Did you find Guernsey, or did they how did that happen?
Well, I found Guernsey through a friend who moved there many years ago to run a hotel with her husband. A very, very nice, cozy hotel with a very nice restaurant. And when we first read the script of Patch, we thought, oh, that would be lovely to shoot it on a location abroad.
Yep.
And I had these images of dramatic cliffs and, you know Holland. I don't know if you've ever been there, but
I've driven through and everything, but I understand. Yeah, it's
just quite. We don't have
open,
any
and
cliffs.
it's just it's the wind turbines, which is what I see this
but it's all flat.
Yeah.
So it made kind of sense to think that over, and then we thought, why not try and see if we can find some enthusiasm to maybe shoot it there.
Yeah, of course.
Because I'd been there many times before.
Right.
To see my friends, to
That answers one of my other questions that would be coming. Which
okay. Yeah.
So
that how the whole thing came about, and when we went there.
Yeah.
To see whether we could find enough backup. We had a few conversations with people on the island, and of course my friends who offered their hotel to
So that
to
was
shoot.
the hotel that you'd been at years before as well. I mean, it's a stunning.
And that was just amazing. Yes, that was such a.
When things fall into place like that, you go, right, this was meant to be. That's perfect.
Yes, and of course, before we went there, they already said to us, if they really like the idea, you can shoot the film here and stay with your crew and cast in the hotel for a week. Just off season, at the end of the season.
Because it wasn't weather permitting, really, was it? Like, in terms of the story, it didn't have to have some weather, so you could have filmed it any time when they were available.
Exactly. Yeah.
So how
as long as
the
ferries would go.
Oh, of course,
so that was kind of a challenge.
So the shoot was how long?
The shoot was 3 days and a bit. Yeah, I think 3 days. Yeah.
And then in terms of the edit side of things, how did that go? Did you when you were reviewing the rushes and looking at the footage, was there any certain bits that you were like you had to reshoot, or?
Well, that was not possible. So
of course,
we worked with the material that we had. Yes. So no, and that was another thing. I was a producer, one of the producers, and it was my first project as producer, and not as an actress, but I was not allowed to see the raw footage.
Oh, really?
Because that was an agreement Marinda and I had with the director.
Director, right.
To not get involved too much in the raw material, because he said, you're not used to seeing that.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to get distracted. And
because then thinking,
So that was something we just had to trust him on, and that he did well.
It's great, it's funny, it's to my taste and my sort of humour, and just to look at it. And one thing which is huge, and obviously you produce a film, you're playing a supporting actress role in it, you cast yourself knowing how competitive the industry is. I mean, the development of women in film in front of the cameras always been there as such, but behind the camera now in producing and directing roles is growing.
Yes, fortunately.
And it is just so, it's competitive, but then how does that make you feel? Is that a good thing that it's now kind of, I mean, look at people in Hollywood like Catherine Bigelow and people like side by side in terms of directing. Do you think it's going to continue at a steady pace where women are now side by side?
Yes, I think so. You see lots of women, you know, cheering for each other, for the fact that they finally find their spots in also behind the scenes and behind the cameras and writing. They've been writing for quite some time, but directing and producing, why not? It was for a long time a male-dominated world. Yeah. But you know, for me it was kind of logical because I had always been working in corporate industry besides my acting, in commercial roles as well. So I thought, why not? I mean, I didn't have any experience. No. But I thought,
just
how hard could it be?
Exactly. That's what a lot of people think.
Put people in the right place, get the money together.
Was it harder than you thought?
It was
harder than you thought.
Many lessons learned. Yeah, it was really, really complicated, and I know now.
So was there sleepless nights, or was it just a case?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. Because when you have everything lined up, your cast, everything is set, and on the island, a few people, and then suddenly there is a storm. You think, okay, so there might be a chance that the ferries won't go. So because we had to bring all the equipment with us. There is nothing to. I mean, they have some.
There's no contingencies. They're either coming or they're not.
Yeah. So, but it passed by, and then we decided. That was the sleepless 2 nights that I had. Yeah. When it came to the weather, there were other sleepless nights as well. But this was one, and there were 2. But then the storm passed by the coast of France, and then we decided, okay, it's going to be a rough sea, but we're going to go.
Yeah.
But it's, it's
little things like that can just spoil everything. So Given Patch is a short film, and then I understand you're looking to produce a feature film?
Yes, also.
And a web
series.
Yeah. Can you tell us any more about them?
Well, that is I would love to, but that's in a very...
It's in a place at the minute obviously can't, because there's flipping and going back to being the producer, and then going from producing a short and coming up against challenges. Yes. How daunting is it for you going into then producing a feature? Have you then written a list of everything that's gone wrong and you've rectified, and do you feel happier now with having produced Patch and come up against difficulties that doing a feature is going to be easier?
No, not at all. No, not at all, because you have, especially the financial part is such a, it's like a building you have to make. It's so many elements that have to fall in place, and I still need a lot more experience and people to be able to do this. But I'm confident that will happen one day, and I've met a lot of very interesting and enthusiastic and helpful people in the last half a year that our film is in competition on festivals, but also in
it's exposure as well, isn't it? Ultimately, that's the thing, and we find with all films that join us across Europe that being in a festival and then just being able to discuss it and present it and being officially selected, you can then have that power and weight to go to an investor and say, look at this, and then obviously it can work.
That's your showcase.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then they'll look at it and go, well, that's great. And some people have the mentality of a film has to win an award to therefore be good. No, it just has to show that you can, from a producer's point of view, bring together a team, get the budget, support it, and then they'll look and go, well, if you can do all of this and your film's getting into festivals, yeah, I'm willing to back that, and that's huge.
And it's a great thing about the short film business. It's just such a nice way to explore your own possibilities, but artistically to see what you can do and can achieve. I was so proud when I heard that our film was selected. We had our premiere at the LA Shorts Fest.
LA.
It's like, okay. Oh my God, this is really happening.
It's interesting. I don't know if the comedy's more. If the Americans, obviously, they did get the comedy, and they did because I'm not being naive to it. And obviously, I watch a lot of Hollywood cinema, and then I see a lot of independent cinema. Obviously, just when I sit there and be like, I want to watch these certain films, just a selection of them. It seems like very European and even very British humour.
Yes, it is, because Christian is British.
Yeah. And then the fact of the way that you guys were then able to bring that to the screen, and just with the comments, the remarks, and the fake tears. With one thing which actually fascinated me, and obviously we can see it behind, where did the artwork come from?
Oh, yes. It's a bit Tarantino-like, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yes, we thought so too. It was made by Joey Retro. This is a graphical artist from Holland.
Yep.
And that I've known for all my life. He's,
brilliant.
He's a great friend of my brother's. And he's a multi-talented guy. He's a musician as well.
Because I think if that was
really
to be a real life image, I don't know, I think it would creates more intrigue, the fact that it's drawn like that in such a way. If it was just a real life still, just no problem in using that, but because of the way the narrative is and the story is, when you then watch it, having say seen this, if you're picking up a DVD case and you see it and then you watch the film, it's going to be completely different to what that entails or gives the idea of, and that's, you do judge a book by its cover. I think so. Just looking at that image, you'll be like, okay, read the narrative, okay, I'll give it a go. And then when you watch a film, it's a case of, and that's my opinion. Like, I wasn't, say, in terms of expecting certain things. So it is important to whether it's the tagline, and then obviously the imagery, because films are like books in a way, the write up and so done a great job.
But what does it? I mean, what kind of feeling does it give you when you?
In terms of things in that, the way you look at it, obviously, ultimately, it's the fact of Tessa's character, yourself, just looking at that, is at the forefront, obviously taking it as is. She's at the forefront and pushing her away, which ultimately the film does follow that narrative when there's that realisation. But for the most part, it's all about Charlotte.
Yes.
So when you then come to watch it, it's just when you come to watch the film, you're like, oh, but I thought, and then eventually when it gets to,
and then you understand.
And just the flip of it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just
good.
Again, it's the interpretation, and maybe that wasn't meant or not, but no, it works.
Well, it works, and of course, we thought a little bit about this.
No, of course, we're going to do it. I jotted down a comment where, obviously, in the film, Charlotte says, "Men are useless." Yes or no?
No.
No.
Not at all.
It's brilliant. Simple enough. That's what we like to see. And one thing as well, obviously, just going back to your character, Tessa. She said it's been not strong, fragile, and sensitive.
Yeah.
Is that you, Karen? Is that a reflection on you?
That is absolutely who I am.
Yeah.
No,
not at
all.
Not at all.
No, you see me.
No, I can see that.
Quite cheerful person.
Cheerful, confident, and full of self-belief, and actually humble as well.
Yeah. Well, I don't know anything. Well, I didn't know anything when I started, and I learned a little bit.
And now, you've developed it. And what was one thing I just wanted to? Would you see the possibility of there being a dish? Obviously, I know I've mentioned the features, but a patch, like feature, or how? Because you're saying a feature, and we can't say if it's patch or not.
No.
I don't know.
Yeah, there could be. There could be.
Because I think there's the possibility
yes,
of it
absolutely.
being, or if not, just there could be a short TV series for sure.
Yeah.
I think there could. I mean, I see a lot of things, and I just look and think, especially of the UK audience or what's on Netflix or on-demand channels.
Yeah.
My colleague Steve, we've spoken about it, the film, and just saying, honestly, it's really funny. It's one of those films which I like, and obviously it's just. And when there's a few people, obviously the generation, it wasn't missed on us. The humour wasn't missed. And just some of the little sequences.
Just gotta be happy.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. No, it was really enjoyable, and just the sequences where it cuts to it, and in the car. That's something I wanted to ask you as well. Did that car have to be in the fantasy sequence of Charlotte in the vehicle? Was that vehicle brought over especially for that one scene?
No, that was on the island. Yeah. Yes.
And you're just able to.
The DB5, you mean?
Yeah, the DB5.
Yeah. I mean, it's Guernsey, and people.
Of course, yeah, they've got deep pockets.
Yes, and they're collectors. We had a range of cars we could choose from, which was really, really nice.
And that one
and we chose this one. Well, Christian chose this one.
Chose it to work for it.
One. Yeah.
Is there anything you would change? Obviously, you've mentioned about the fact that the rushes you didn't see. And raw footage, then obviously going and not being able to go back and reshoot anything. Is there anything that you would slightly change if you're being critical?
No, not really. No, I think we made our choices. We made our choices, and we didn't even use all the material. Maybe we would have changed the weather at some points, but if you have only 3 days, didn't the sun come out now? I mean, that would have been nice.
Just could have worked.
But apart from that, no, I think.
And obviously, it is predominantly it's the two characters, and then a third who's in it for a little bit longer, taxi driver. And then, what's the other guys
Great
like
actor.
working with, in terms of the guys that cost you in the pub? How was that? Just having
that was a local crew, a cast. There's some really nice actors on the island. They have a theatre group. And,
oh really? That's me being naive. I wouldn't have thought that.
But there are a couple of companies there as well. I can't name anything, I think, but it's something with glasses, and they have their own studio as well, and they're being asked frequently to act in their commercials as well.
So they obviously welcome it, because it then just puts Guernsey on the map, because obviously watching a short film and then thinking, actually, that looks lovely. It's not too far away from home from me. I've never been there, and all of a sudden now I think, you know what?
Well, you should. It's really
looks lovely, and obviously a nice place to go to.
Very nice people as well.
Again, with the film, it's often good in terms of marketing it. Has the film been sent over? And
yes, we had a screening there as well.
Screening scene as well.
Yeah,
I was going to say the exposure, so they can see and go, oh, look at the hotel, and obviously then people get to see it.
Yes, of course. That's it's also a very nice thing for my friends.
Yeah.
But also for the island in general. And it was really nice to see that so many people came to the screening night.
Yeah.
I think we had it shown 3 times that night. Yeah.
Great.
So we were in the BBC studio talking about the film. We've been in the newspapers, and
that's little things like that which get seen and pushed out there, just generate interest, which again you can use from tabloid cuts and all opportunities just to promote and add to your collateral for the things that you're going to do going forward.
I think we set a trend as well, because there is currently a big Hollywood film a big Hollywood movie is being shot in Guernsey with the Dutch famous actor Michiel Huisman.
Okay. Not aware of that, but okay.
Who is in one of the leading roles. It's after a book.
Okay, well that's clearly
Potato Peel Pie Society.
It's no coincidence though, is it?
There's no coincidence. That's because of us.
That's because of fantastic. So that's you guys have got that there. obviously one of the questions potentially I should have asked, had you always wanted to get into this industry?
Yes, from a very young age I was already on stage.
On
was
stage
acting,
and convinced and wanting to do things.
Imitating my uncle who was walking with a stick.
Oh really?
And not just to be funny, just to make fun of him, but because I wanted to feel what it was like to you know, to walk like that
and that is the main thing, isn't it? I guess obviously just escaping who we are.
Yeah.
And obviously Karen becoming Tessa, and obviously just taking on a different role. And you do obviously a lot of people which get so method acting and get involved in it.
Yes.
And that level of commitment and everything. And obviously that is serious when people get so immersed in a role.
Yeah.
It's quite a talent as well, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, actors have different ways to approach their character, and method has its things, but it's not my.
No.
It's not the thing that I.
No, because I think it can put a lot of people off, and obviously you look at Philip Seymour Hoffman and even then Heath Ledger getting so immersed in their roles.
Yeah.
I believe their love of acting and the commitment did cost them their lives.
Yes. Well, I think there was also other issues.
Other things obviously involved.
But
in
you somehow you have to to be able to switch the power off.
Yeah.
Once you get off set or stage, and that is sometimes quite hard because we always learn a little bit from our roles. We take into our own lives. Like, okay, I've been there. That was rough.
And then I guess that's true. You do just keep a little bit of everything.
Or funny,
Yeah, that's the thing. But I've got this funny. Or if it's a case of Tess character, actually being a bit sensitive or going for a breakup and thinking all this stuff. Yeah, so it's all just little things which do get to.
I've been inconsolable for a while.
Yeah. Just wipe them tears. So Patch is obviously got nominations here. Have you been around Europe a lot with the film, or
not so much?
No,
we've been mainly successful in the United States, and in some festivals here, but not so much. So we're really very happy with our nominations here in Madrid.
It's great. I mean, it's weird that I wouldn't have been naive to it, but obviously just being big in the States, I don't know why that's come as a shock to me, because I think of their sense of humour.
Yes.
And having seen the film, I was looking and think a lot of it may have been lost on them.
Well, I was there in the audience
in LA,
and at the premiere, and people were under their chairs. I mean, my God, what is happening? I was saying to Marinda, what's going on? But they really thought it was funny. It was hilarious. They said, "Oh my God, this is hilarious." Okay. So I think they didn't fake that.
Yeah, not say slapstick as such.
No, but it has.
It's got. It's just the little bits of wit and the way it works. And congratulations on what you have put together. It was great. I know you're joining us Saturday night, and hopefully the film gets obviously recognition. It's already got recognition, but a win would be great. So
yes.
Thank you so much for joining me, Karen. I really appreciate it.
Stay away from me!
What do you think of our little island then, eh?
I don't know yet. I just got here.
Let's forget about man. It's you and me, sister. Fun girl time, golfing weekends on beautiful Guernsey.
Here we are, dear.
I'm going to the toilet.
Well, you're not a whore, clearly you're not. At least not a cheap one. What I mean is, you're not really strong. You're more fragile, sensitive. That's the word.
Awesome save, Charlotte. Can we please stop doing this? I'm not wearing my sports bra, you know. And then he just said, "Is your sexy friend Charlotte still single?"